Jai Shri Ram. This is day 11 of Valmiki Ramayana for Kids by Pranav Shankar. Yesterday we covered Ravana's council meeting, Vibhishana's refuge in Rama, the building of the bridge to Lanka, Sugriva's wrestle with Ravana, Angada's message to Ravana, Rama's declaration of war, Indrajit's use of the Naga Pasha and Garuda's intervention, and Ravana's humiliation at Rama's hands. After great deliberation, Ravana decided to wake up his brother Kumbhakarna, who had gone to sleep a few days earlier. Due to a curse, Kumbhakarna used to sleep for 6 months at a time. The Rakshasas went with drums and conches accompanied by tons of food for his consumption on his waking up. Kumbhakarna heard the humiliation suffered by Ravana. He spoke words of wisdom to Ravana, but he was moved by the appeals of his brother for help. He entered the war front with a great spear in his hand. None could stop against Kumbhakarna's onslaught. Rama's arrows that killed Vali were ineffective against Kumbhakarna. Ravana then sent forth special arrows invoking various deities such as Vayu and Indra, and finally killed him. Ravana lamented bitterly over the death of Kumbhakarna. He decided to send his young sons Trishiras and Adhikaya, who were great warriors, to the war front. Unfortunately for Ravana, they too were killed. Indrajit approached his father and requested that he can go and fight. Indrajit then appeared on the battlefield equipped with many divine arrows from his arsenal. He killed many Vanara leaders, and with his Brahmastra he made Rama and Lakshmana unconscious. Jambavan called Hanuman and told him to bring certain herb from a particular hill in the Himalayas, the Sanjeevani, that would heal the wounds of the princes and help them regain consciousness. Hanuman at once took off and sped towards the Himalayas. Unable to locate the particular herbs, he lifted the entire hill in his hand and returned. The Devatas witnessed Hanuman's feat in amazement. With the smell of the herbs brought by Hanuman, Rama and Lakshmana got back their senses and energy. All the Vanaras lying dead in the battlefield too got up due to the effect of the herbs. Indrajit, having gained time, went to Nikumbhala temple and started a sacrifice, completing which he would become invincible and undefeatable. Vibhishana, knowing this, asked Rama to immediately send Lakshmana to kill him. Lakshmana left for Nikumbhala temple with Hanuman. They interrupted Indrajit's sacrifice and drew him out for a fight. Lakshmana sent Aindrastra, invoking Rama's virtues, and killed Indrajit. Rama was very happy to know that Lakshmana had killed Indrajit. Ravana lost his presence at the death of his dear son Indrajit. Ravana now sent his core commanders along with his personal army to face the battle. Rama fought furiously on that day and defeated all of them. On the 8th day of the war, Ravana himself set out with his remaining ministers, and a great battle ensued between Rama and Ravana. Ravana made Lakshmana fall unconscious with his Shakti, and Hanuman brought the herbs for a second time and saved Lakshmana. Matali brought Indra's chariot for Rama's use, and he drove it, as Matali was Indra's charioteer. Both Rama and Ravana sent powerful astras at each other, and one was countered by the other with more powerful weapons. Ravana's trident was knocked down by Indra's Shakti used by Rama. Many celestial beings and Devatas witnessed the battle from the heavens. Agastya came in a break in the battle and gave Aditya Hridaya Mantropadesha, or the telling of Aditya Hridaya Stotram, to Rama when Ravana was recovering himself from fatigue. Rama chanted it thrice and rejuvenated his energies. Finally, he invoked Lord Brahma and sent his Brahmastra, piercing Ravana's chest, and Ravana fell. There was rejoice in all the three worlds. Rama praised Ravana's strength and valor and asked Vibhishana to do his last rites. Vibhishana completed the rites of Ravana and was crowned the king of Lanka. Rama then asked Hanuman to enter Lanka with Vibhishana's permission and inform Sita about the events that had taken place. Sita received Hanuman's message with tears of joy and gratitude. Hanuman wanted to kill the troublesome Rakshasis, but Sita stopped him as they had only been performing their duties. Sita asked Hanuman to tell Rama that she was eager to see him. When Sita arrived, she was choking with emotion. Sita and Rama were reunited, and there was great joy everywhere. The Pushpaka Vimana, or flying chariot, was ready to carry all of them to Ayodhya. Vibhishana felt the grief of separation from Rama. Rama permitted him to accompany them and asked him to present gifts to the Vanaras for the help they had offered. The Vanaras, headed by Sugriva, expressed their desire to participate in the coronation ceremony at Ayodhya. Rama could not reject their pleas and took them all to Ayodhya. As they reached Bharadwaja's ashrama, Rama sent Hanuman to inform Bharata of their arrival and find out his response. But Hanuman saw Bharata waiting for Rama's arrival. Bharata welcomed Rama and rejoiced at the fulfillment of his great desire that Rama be installed on the throne of Ayodhya. On an auspicious day, Vasishtha had waters from all the holy bodies of water and performed the Pattabhisheka of Sri Rama. As Rama and Sita were seated on the imperial throne, Bharata held an umbrella while Lakshmana and Shatrughna fanned them. Hanuman sat at their feet. After the coronation, Rama thanked all the Vanaras and Sugriva for their help. When it came time to thank Vibhishana, he requested Rama to give him the temple of Sri Ranganatha in Ayodhya, who presided as the Kuladeva, or ancestral deity of the Raghukula. Rama gave the temple to Vibhishana gladly. On the way back to Lanka, Vibhishana left the temple on an island surrounded by the river Kaveri on both sides to do his evening duties. However, he returned to find it stuck to the ground. To appease Vibhishana, the Lord Sri Ranganatha faced southwards towards Lanka. With Bharata as Yuvaraja, Rama ruled the kingdom well. The people enjoyed the rule of Rama and lived a life of joy and peace. There was justice everywhere, and people had no fear of adharma. It was an ideal kingdom ruled by an ideal king, Lord Rama. After a rule of thousands of years, Rama returned to Sri Vaikuntham and Paramapadam, where he resided for all eternity as Lord Sriman Narayana. Thus concludes the Adi Kavyam, the Itihasam, Valmiki Ramayanam, written by sage Valmiki. Thank you. Jai Shri Ram.